Good morning and welcome to Sunday Sunrise. I'm your host, Vicky Carmona. I'm here with Christina. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Vicky.
First of all, thank you so much for coming in. Now, we're here to talk about the Arizona Flute Society. But before we get started talking about that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Christina Steffen, and I'm the Vice President and Program Chair of the Arizona Flute Society. And I'm a flutist, obviously. And music education has been really important to me, and I'm thrilled to be working with a group of like-minded individuals on the board.
Now, what is the Arizona Flute Society, and how did you guys get started?
Well, there was a precursor to the Arizona Flute Society. It was called the Phoenix Flute Club, and I remember as a student when I was in high school going to some of the events and hearing performers and master classes, and I don't know the exact history, how that just kind of dissipated, but the Arizona Flute Society was founded in the late 1990s and actually hosted the National Flute Association convention here in Phoenix several years ago, so that was really exciting.
Okay. So what are you guys exactly? Are you some kind of club or some kind of flute gang?
Flute gang, I like that. We're a society that's interested in promoting music and flute, and we support a lot of educational programs for our members and for the community, and we're also involved in raising money for scholarships, primarily with an event that just occurred last September, the Autumn Affair. It was our second annual Autumn Affair, and we were able to make enough money to donate a scholarship to the Phoenix Youth Symphony Orchestral Training Program for one of their outstanding flutists to offset the costs of belonging to that organization. And we're also able to this year donate a scholarship to a flute camp that we run to one of the students at Rosie's house, which offers free music lessons to inner city Phoenix children. So I'm really excited about those two things. Those were two of my goals for the Autumn Affair this year, and we made it. So
fantastic. So you guys provide a lot of scholarships, like you said, for kids or people that are wanting to further their education with the flute?
We do have scholarships. We also support educational programs. Coming up in November on the 19th, we have a competition and festival which gives everybody of any age, from 6 years old on up through 70, the opportunity to play either in a competition or a festival where you're not ranked first, second, or third, but you have the opportunity to perform and get feedback from adjudicators that will help you with your progress. It especially gives younger students the opportunity to perform and prepare for that type of anxiety situation, and to get feedback from professional flutists who can help them progress further. So that's a wonderful program, and we offer scholarships as part of the competition. We have cash prizes as well as scholarships to our flute camp. We also are sponsoring a regional all-state Etude Masterclass in January. There's something called regionals and then all-state, and the state is divided up into many regions, and students, and we deal with flute players, of course, have the opportunity to audition and make it into one of the regional bands or orchestras. And then if you do that, you get the chance to audition to become a member of the all-state band or orchestra, so just one for the entire state. So what we started doing last year is offering a master class on the etudes, where the students who are auditioning can come and play for one of our professional flute players who know the etudes very well, and they stand up in front of a group and they perform the etudes, and the professional flutist will work with them to improve their performance, whether it's tone, technique, all sorts of hints, so that when they go to the regionals, they're better prepared, they sound better, they're more successful, which of course makes them feel better, and it helps the school music program, because that always looks nice to have lots of your musicians in the regionals. We also have in February a flute choir concert. So we open it up to all of our members, or anybody who's not a member, join the Arizona Flute Society. Come play in this flute choir. We'd like to make it even bigger and better this year. We're bringing in a guest composer, Melvin Lauf, will be playing a lot of his compositions on the program. So we have a rehearsal, and then he comes in as a clinician conductor, and then we perform, and that concert is open to the community. It will be at the Beatitudes Campus of Care. And you can check the dates and all of our information on our website, azflutes.org. And we've also offered performances and master classes with professionals who come in at college level, high school level. We brought in the Trio Project with Gary Patillo, the beatboxing flute player, so that was really exciting. I need to work on my beatboxing. That was a lot of fun. And we have a flute camp that'll be in June. So again, check the website for the exact dates and information, but June of 2012. And this will be our 5th year. And we're really excited. We're expanding the length of the day. Our first year, we were just 3 days in the morning, and the students who attended, and again, we probably had students from 3rd grade, up until people who were in their 60s. And last year, we had a woman who had turned 70.
Wow.
The year before. So it's a wonderful mix of generations in the community. And we're all brought together with this, commonality of loving to play the flute and loving music. So the flute camp this year, we're up to, and we're extending it by an hour so that we can offer more master classes and other clinics and classes. Last year, I did a Flutes Around the World class, and students had an opportunity to play the instruments as well as, listen to me talk about them and demonstrate them. Nathan Sosi came in and did the Native American flute, and they just loved that. He played for them, and they had the opportunity to play some of the flutes that he brought in. We're bringing in guest artists from out of town. We've brought in Jim Walker, from the Los Angeles Philharmonic and the jazz group Free Flight. We brought in April Clayton last year from BYU. Viviana Completo, who's the principal flutist with the Phoenix Symphony, has been one of our guest artists, as well as Brian Gordon, who came in and did some wonderful work with piccolo playing, and students got a chance to play for them as well. So we're expanding. We're really excited. We're growing, and we'd love to have more people involved in the Flute Society. So if people are interested, just check out the website, join the society.
It definitely sounds like you guys are super busy.
We are, and this is pretty much in addition to everybody has outside jobs, whether the president of the Flute Society, Karen Contos, is an engineer. She loved playing flute, and it was flute and engineering, so she has a full-time job. I work as a musician and a teacher. I teach at a couple of the community colleges as well as privately, and then I freelance. So it definitely keeps us busy, and we could use more people to kind of spread the work around. And I would really like to broaden our base of supporters, whether they're joining the Flute Society or donating funds to support our educational programs and scholarship opportunities. I would love to see us, offer some classes in the public schools. That's always been in the back of my mind that I would like to see us do. So I'd just like to see us get out in the community more and provide more services for young music students and older musicians as well.
Now, as an educator and a flautist, like you said?
Flautist comes from the Italian because it's a flauto. So if you're an English speaker, flute or flutist, or I prefer just flute player.
As an educator and a flute player, why do you think it's so important to bring this type of education and this type of music education to the kids?
Well, studies have shown that students who participate in their school band and orchestral programs develop neural pathways that transfer into other aspects of their education. They score higher on math. They score higher on language. A lot of studies on spatial temporal performance with younger children. There are studies that show that young musicians actually do better in school. They're more successful. They're also less likely to become involved in substance abuse, whether it's alcohol or or prescription drugs or illicit drugs.
So there's definitely benefits.
Oh, there's huge benefits. And you know, it's a little bit scary what's going on in public education right now with all the cutbacks, and music programs seem to get cut back very early on. And if you look at the benefits, it shouldn't happen. So we're just trying to keep everybody out there and playing and supporting our school music programs in addition to these outside programs that keep students involved.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned that you guys are looking for more members for the Arizona Flute Society. How young can a person be to join?
You can be as young as your mother wants you to be, or your father. We do have family memberships.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of times we get, a mother and father and a son or daughter who plays the flute and siblings. And so there's a family membership, which opens up everything to be available to the family, in addition to student memberships and adult memberships. And we've also had people, just donate time as well as money to support our program. So
definitely,
we'd love all of it.
No, do you think it's definitely a benefit to be part of this organization if you are a flute player yourself?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of opportunities available, and it's a wonderful way to get to know the other flute players in the community. We're all kind of interconnected, and there are a lot of benefits, professionally there if you're a professional flute player as well. So I've had the opportunity to work with a composer in California, Christopher Caliendo. I got to meet April Clayton, and we all met Jim Walker, and there's a lot of benefits to that. But, primarily for me, it's not about any benefit that I can get out of it, but it's what I can give to the community. For example, at the flute camp, we do bring in our guest artists and we pay them. But our coaching staff, the people who are involved with coaching small ensembles and working with the students, are all volunteer.
Oh, wow.
So I talk to people well in advance and confirm before then, and, select people that we know are going to be really good coaches. They're great flute players. They're wonderful educators. They have a rapport with students, whether it's at a specific age level or not. And I ask them to volunteer. So they give their time for those 4 days to audition the students and then work with them in ensembles and coach them for performance the last day of camp. And they all do it because they believe in our young music students and in music education, and it's wonderful. I've done it for the last 4 years in addition to co-chairing the flute camp, and I love it.
Definitely. Now, let's say that there's somebody out there listening, and they're like, I want to know more. I want to know how I can get involved. I want to know about the different events being put on. Do you guys have a website, a Facebook, anything like that?
We do have a website, azflutes.org, and there's a lot of information on all of our programs. We also have some photos of past events. There's a list of our board members, and we also have people who are involved who are not on the board. We have a music library. So if you're interested in some flute ensemble music or maybe some solo repertoire, we do have a library that's available to our members, and that information is on the website. We also have an alto flute and a bass flute that can be checked out to members who are in good standing if they'd like to try them out, use them in a flute ensemble. They're more unusual instruments, not something you would typically find in a school music program. So all of that information is up on our website. We also do have a Facebook page, so if you search Arizona Flute Society, we're there.
Christina, we've definitely covered a lot of information about the Arizona Flute Society. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think that there was going to be too much to talk about, but wow, you guys are busy and all over the place. Have we missed anything?
I'm sure we have. I have to think. Oh, you know what? I should mention in the Autumn Affair, we brought in Joe Corral, a world-class jazz flute player who gave a wonderful concert. And we're going to do this again next year in September. So look ahead for information. We're already talking about where we're going to have it and who we're going to bring in. But it's a wonderful social event where we have hors d'oeuvres and a cash bar before a concert, and then dessert and coffee afterwards. And we have a silent auction. So we have people who have donated wonderful auction items, and a lot of our money that was raised came from the silent auction. So that was really exciting. It's was just a wonderful event for all ages and for musicians and non-musicians. One of my favorite comments last year, the first year that we did it, was that someone's spouse really enjoyed it even though they weren't a musician and they weren't sure that they would. So it's a wonderful event, and it's a wonderful way for us to fund some of our educational programs.
So they should definitely keep their eyes and ears open for that coming up.
At publicity, we're kind of on a learning curve here, but we did get things out to papers and to magazines and to websites. So keep checking for Autumn Affair. It should be next September in 2012.
Fantastic. So once again, go ahead and check out their website at
azflutes.org.
All right, Christina, thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, thank you so much.